From the main menu, select Work Order. The work order is the heart of your system. This is where you enter jobs, take out jobs, create affidavits, create invoices, and also check to see that your affidavits and scanned documents are in the system. Once it is opened, you'll have the ability then to click New Record. For the purposes of this video, we're going to find a record, and it will be 1138. All right, from here, normally we would go to New, but for this purpose, we're going to look at a job that's already created. The first thing you're going to put in is the law firm, and you'll notice you have the abbreviation and then the full name. You also have a drop-down menu. If this client was not a new client, you would not have to exit the system. You could simply start typing in the name of the new firm, and then it would ask you, this firm does not exist, would you like to create it? And it would take you to the user setup. But for this job, let's use the firm, and you'll notice that Bob Attorney is the default contact. Again, if you had a different person that was not on their list, they'd give you the ability to enter it right from here. The firm number, you're going to put in the billing contact information for that law firm. For example, if they use time slips or Collection Master, Collection Mate, Perfect Practice, whatever software they use in their billing system, this is the firm number. The plaintiff will be whoever your plaintiff is. If it is a plaintiff that you use over and over again, it will auto-populate, or you can type over it. The defendant, in this case, is the Baker Corporation. You will put in your case number, your return date, when it has to be back in court. Once you put in the return date and tab over it, you will see that the last service date, in this case, is set for 6 days minus the return date. If it was set forward from the date received, it would be 6 days forward. Select your court. In this case, it will be Cook County. And the person to be served is Robert A. Baker, R.A. But, for example, if this was a person's name, let's say it was Bob Baker, you would just auto-populate down there to the person to be served, and then you can type over it. Some firms have defendant numbers. The defendant number goes here. You will look and see that there's a box, witness and defendant. If this paper was a subpoena, for example, the person's not a defendant, he's a witness, and the word witness will be overridden on all the affidavits instead of defendant when you print your affidavits. In this case, this is going to be an alias summons and complaint. You will put in their address, their suite, city, state, zip code, if there's a phone number. You have a box here, do not geocode. That allows the system, after you enter each job, it assigns a geocode coordinates for the case. If you do not want to use that, you simply do not geocode it. If, after the case is entered, the address doesn't match with a known location through the mapping system, it will tell you that it's going to change the address and highlight what's been changed. If you don't want to use that new address, just do not use the do not geocode. You can assign your server. However, the system is designed with an automatic mapping program which allows you to assign servers to a particular town by county and by zip code, which would automatically put in a server after the address is written. Then you have what kind of document it is, a summons and complaint. At this point, you can hit save. Now, on this case, if you wanted to enter another defendant to be served at the exact same address, for example, we have Robert Baker, RA. We could add Robert Baker as an individual if he had another defendant number or not, and hit save. What this will do now is, on this job, it will create two defendants for the same work order because they are at the exact same address. When I print the work order in the upper right-hand corner, it will print defendant 1 of 2, and it will also print 2 work orders, one for Robert Baker as RA and a second is Robert Baker individual. This lets your server know that he has 2 people to serve at this address. To the right, you also have the ability to make this a rush job, personal service only, primary address, alternate address, or multiple defendants. All of these features can be put onto the work order to highlight whatever the server needs to know, that this is a rush job, personal service only. Additional information can be put onto the work order also. For example, this is a home address. That will appear on the work order also. As this is multiple defendants at one address here, we can keep adding by just hitting the add button. Let's say there were 3 people at this address, but this would give us 3 people at one address or 2 people at one address. It would print out one work order showing in the upper right-hand corner that this was either job 1 of 2, 2 of 2, 3 of 3, however you want it. But this is for one individual address, one individual invoice with multiple people. What happens if you want to take the case information and apply it to a totally different address, but you don't want to retype everything? After the job is saved, you can go to the duplicate feature. Now you'll see that it's duplicate because there's no work order on it. I just erased the second defendant, and now I'm going to put in Mary Baker, and she's not going to be an RA, she's going to be an individual. And we're going to put in a different address, let's say 2000 Webster. Let's say I don't know what the zip code is at 2000 Webster. I can leave it Chicago, Illinois. I already have my server assigned, and that is an alias summons and complaint. And I can put in additional notes if I want to, such as this is a business address. Now, watch what happens when I go to save. It's letting me know that the address is invalid because there's not a zip code and that a new address was found. It's also letting me know that the zip code is what is being corrected. Also, on this job, there was already things scanned into the system. It's asking me, do I want to save those? I'm going to say yes. And it's going to show me that there was a summons and a complaint. And I'm going to copy the attachments.